There is no one best way of parenting. There are different ways of parenting, and it depends on the children, it depends on the parents, and it depends on the dynamics of the family.
Rocking Mama to Real Mama, Mamta B.
Parenting, as we all know, is a non-stop roller coaster. It has twists and turns. It's like a marathon that has no end. There are no books, there are no rules. Nothing can prepare you, for all that baby poop, for those sleepless nights, for those tantrums, for your children's early heartbreaks, for your children flying the nest. Nothing can prepare you for all of this. What matters in the end is how good of a parent you have been to your children. Our own childhood experiences, they have a huge impact on the way we raise our children. Social habits like generosity, kindness, helpfulness, the spiritual pathways that are practiced at home, all of this still remains a fundamental basis of your parenting style. But there are other things that change, or you tend to change them because you feel they were not right for you. Now, for those of us who were sent away to a boarding school very, very early, and I know there are many of us here who've had that experience, we also know that parents sent us to a boarding school very early in age because we couldn't get access to the few good schools that were here in Nepal at that time. So I don't blame them for what they chose to do because they really didn't have a choice. But what that also meant is we did not have parenting with our parents all those years. Right up to the age of 16, we were in a boarding school, so we were more or less shaped by our teachers, by our house parents, by the friends that we had in our cottages, in our hostel. The only time we came home was for the holidays, and those were once a year when parents would think, maybe let's not try to discipline. So I remember families going on holidays during those breaks. I remember them doing different activities, but ours was a completely different thing altogether. My father, I think, was the busiest man on this earth. He was a young upcoming politician, and he had no time for himself. He was always with the people, for the people, but, he was all the time out of the house. And my mother was completely devoted to the household and bringing up the children and looking after everything at home. So there wasn't a good balance, let's say that. I don't remember going out on holidays as a family. I don't see any pictures of us, as a family on a picnic or traveling to some country, no. We spent most of the holidays at home. Of course, we were in a safe environment, but there wasn't any family events happening as such. So at a very young age, I remember promising myself is one, I would never, never, ever be, restricted to just being a housewife like my mother. She was so educated, but yet she had to give it all and just settle in, just to be at home and do the mundane things without getting the opportunity to do anything else beyond that. And I also promised myself that I would never, ever be partners with a politician because I just saw it right from the start. I was like, they don't have time for the family. They never do. It's always for the people. And it's not always rewarding. That's also what I've learned. My father did admit much later that he wished he had spent more time with us when we were children. So in a way, I remember doing things very differently to how my parents brought us up. I kind of broke the chain right there. One is being together, family, supporting each other, making sure that we each had time for the children. And the other thing was sending them off to a boarding school or not. Most of us now, we do have a choice. We can either send them off to school or we have the choice to keep them at home. Now, there's no right or wrong to this, okay? I'm not trying to say those who send their children off to a boarding school is bad and those who keep them at home is wrong. No, it isn't that. But it's a choice that you're faced with and one that you decide on. So because I had been separated from home at such an early age, for me, this early age separation was not something I wanted for my children. It gave me a lot of anxiety and I did not want my children to do that. So I was very happy to have them home throughout their schooling because I knew eventually they would fly away. Now, things can be different for other parents, especially single parents who have to raise their children and also have to follow their career and make everything fit in together. So in your right way, Perhaps the best decision for you is to send your children off to a boarding school so that they are cared for and you are able to manage your side of the, things that you are supposed to do. How good was I as a parent is a question we often ask ourselves, but there is no answer to that. There is no marker. There are no points, right? Our parents didn't come with any manual and neither did we. We just have to hope that we did our best from whatever knowledge we had, and we hope that everything turns out well and good. There is no one best way of parenting. There really isn't. Each child is different, each family dynamic is different, and it's just one parenting style will differ from another, but it doesn't mean one is wrong from the other. But one thing we must understand is the way we were brought up as children definitely will impact the way you are bringing up yours. Parenting is so challenging and yet rewarding in many, many ways. It is such an honor to be a parent, but what a huge responsibility. So we need to tread it carefully. We need to just hope for the best. And we need to have a lot of patience.
Hits FM 91.2.